Hey, Null Inquisitor again. This is the second video on the tutorial about the 7C combat system. So let's get down to it. Let's start with Drama Dice. Here I have taken the liberty of printing a character sheet for 7C. It's not the character sheet you will find in the you'll find in the basic book. But it's a fan-made character sheet, but it's even better than the one in the player's guide. Although this very copy have a slightly larger margin, I would need to address that. But it's really more useful. You have more space to write your advantage and backgrounds and appearance and all that. So let's get down to it. Drama Dice. In 7C you have this currency called Drama Dice that you can use when you play. Let's suppose if you didn't watch my other video, I suggest you start from there. This is part 2. So in my other video my character had something like 5 dice, keep 3 to hit with his basic knack in attacks. So if I roll a stupidly not good roll, let's see, let's play with destiny here. A 3, a 1, a 2. All right. So let's suppose I have rolled this dice roll. It's really a crappy dice roll. In 7C you have these drama dice that you can add to your roll. Generally, when you start the game, you start the game with a number of drama dice equal to your panache. In this case, 2 in panache. So let's suppose I have these dice on the table. I roll this crappy roll. I'm not happy with it. I really want to hit the other guy. I could use one of my drama dice and roll it and add it to my pool. Since my character had keep 3, I would only keep my 3 dice, but the drama dice will always be added to my total. So if I'm lucky enough, this dice will make a difference. It's a gamble, but you can score 1 dice higher than your keep would allow, so it's really good. But when I use it, you gave it to the game master and it's gone. The only way to gain other drama dice in your session is either 2 things. You can have one of your background be activated by the GM. Let's suppose you have the background enemy and the GM make your enemy appear in the game. He will throw you drama dice. I suggest any game master who want to run a 7C to get several 10-sided dice, all the same color, to give to your player. It's even better to have the real dice in your hand, and this is my drama dice. But you can also play with poker chips and glass bed or whatever. It doesn't matter. I find it more useful to just throw dice at my player, not throw in the face, but although some player might require it. So my character here is 2 in panache would start with 2 drama dice. Another way of gaining more drama dice during the game is to impress the table, roleplay well, do stupid shit that pirates do, and throw yourself out the windows and fall into the arms of a lady or whatever. If the GM think it's worthy, he will throw you dice and you carry on. Funny thing about the drama dice is that it's really there as a luck mechanic. If you miss your dice roll, you can supplement your dice roll. But also, at the end of the game, if you didn't spend these drama dice let's say you're a conservative or a narrativist person, and your character, even though he had some very bad luck, you just roll with it, and you kept your drama dice, and you kept it all. At the end of the game, these dice become experience point. In this case, 3. So not bad. It's a luck mechanic, but it's also a possibility for a quicker advancement. So it's really a give and take. So you can make your choice, and maybe if you need 3 extra points at the end of the game to have that special skill, maybe you will be tempted to keep these 3 dice as XP. But each time you roll a drama dice, you will lose it, and gone is your XP. You will receive XP at the end of the game, but not that little extra. Okay, now let's talk about damage. This is really the last part of the combat system. It's really fun. Let's begin by saying that in 7th you don't have hit points. You have wounds, dramatic wounds, and then your knockout. Every description of any wound is purely a storytelling type of description. The mechanic for damage is really simple, and you can really extrapolate from that what your wound or what your status in physical condition is. So let's say my guy here with his stats will be hit by a rapier or a fencing weapon. Let's check out these stats. So the stats that are important in the combat system are noted here. So the wound check here to keep 2 is equal to the brawn. So it's basically your toughness in the game. Then your crippled and knockout status, the amount of dramatic wound and that you need to that you can take before being crippled or knocked out is written here. It's basically your resolve or your willpower, and for the knocked out it's twice your resolve. So these numbers are kind of important. When you do damage in 7C, unless it's a pistol or a rifle round, you will almost add your brawn to your damage score. So let's say my brawn is 2, I will add 2 dice to my pool. And the typical fencing weapon is to keep 2 of damage. So I will add 2 dice to my pool. So basically the fencing weapon would be to keep 2. I roll those 2 guys and roll them together, add them up, and if it's still the same rule. If I have some 10s on these dice, they will explode, and I continue to roll them. The fact that I have 2 in brawn add 2 dice, but it does not change the keep of the dice. I still keep just 2 dice. So this is the basic way of doing damage. And when you figure out your code for your fencing weapon, here rapier, you can write just your code as a way of simplify the game. So I know it's always 4 keep 2 unless something changed on my sheet. So let's say my character is hit by another character with the same strength and same skill, whatever. Let's roll this damage. Really good roll. I keep only 2 dice, a 8 and a 10 for 18 plus 9. It's 27. 27 of damage. The first thing I will do is write this number in this little square called flesh wound. My character has received a wound of 27. Now what I need to do is roll a wound check. This wound check is to verify if my wounds are serious or not. If I make the roll, the damage is really not serious and is called a flesh wound. The target number is the number you see here in the square. So with my 2 keep 2, I need to score 27. It's pretty high. I mean, the other guy exploded a 10 on his damage, so it's not so surprising. It's a really good shot. Oh, I missed it. And a 1 and a 8, that's a 9. I missed it. So, what's happening here, and it's a really good example. I got a 9, I got a 27, so I missed it by a very large margin, like 11, I think, or 12. So when I fail a flesh wound, you erase the amount of damage that you had in your flesh wound square, and you register 1 dramatic wound in your dramatic wound square. Basically, it does nothing. You just know that your character has been really hit well. If it had just been a flesh wound, it's okay. It's just a scratch. At the end of a combat, you erase any flesh wound left by the combat. Basically, it's just bruises and non-lethal damage. But the dramatic wound, you keep those guys. They are hard and long to regenerate or to heal. It's like in the pirate movie. You have to rest. You have to have a healer. Will tend your wound, and you have to sleep. You have to eat well. These kinds of things. In this case, let's suppose I had rolled even less than 9. Let's say I had rolled like a 4. For every 20 points I miss my roll, that's another dramatic wound. I nearly did that, so I will do it on purpose. So for every 20 point I missed my roll, it's another dramatic wound. So you cannot get cocky too long with your flesh wound box getting very high number and still making that wound check. Eventually you will catch up and you will have those dramatic wounds. In this case, and it's perfect for the example, I scored 2 dramatic wounds, the same number as my crippled number here. That means I have hit a certain step in my wound process. Now I'm crippled. And when you're crippled in 7th, you no longer explode your 10 on your dice. That's it. You have no other penalty, no dice pool penalty whatsoever. You just don't roll that 10 again. It's still a 10, but you don't roll it. So you can still have pretty good rolls if you have a good skill or a good keep on your dice pool. But man, you cannot explode those dice, even damage. So you're crippled. It's really tough. The only dice that you will still explode in your hand is the dramatic dice, drama dice. And when your character hit that last number, the knocked out number, you're down. You're down. In 7th, you will wake up tied to a chair or strapped in chains in a dungeon, being interrogated by the bad guy, or you will wash ashore on a beach somewhere. That's the usual stuff in 7th. You will not die. The GM cannot kill your character outright. There is 2 or 3 ways to kill your character, and basically it's more like a story and less like a mechanic. So here you go. You know now more about the drama dice and the wound system. It's really simple. You have advantage like toughness, who can modify your wound check score. If you want to raise your dramatic wound, you have to raise your willpower, which is kind of counterintuitive for min-maxer out there, but it's kind of makes sense. In a pirate game with the cinematic flair, the person with the more resolve will last longer. It's kind of one of the tropes of the genre. Yeah, that's about it. Every other rule for combat, for special advanced snack, for swordsmanship, special power or whatever will resolve around that mechanic we just covered. So some mechanic will give you extra dice on X maneuver, or it's really a simple system from this point. Personally, after years and years of GMing this game, I did some tweak to the combat system. It could be the subject of another video. I changed the way how defense work, but yeah, basically 7C is just a simple game, and it's really have some advantage and that bring your table to life when you play a pirate game. So I hope you enjoyed this part 2, these 2 tutorial about the combat, and see you next time. Bye bye.